Heyy. I'm back with another video. I know it's been a little while, not that long of a break. Like what? Couple weeks. Anyways, I have a new microphone. So if the sound quality either sounds better or worse, let me know. 5 tips for the beginner artist. I'm gonna be explaining more of the mental tips to help you grow as an artist. That helped me a lot and nobody ever freaking told me about. So hope you guys like the video. Also, these are my little kitties as drawings because I drew them before on the channel. I just didn't really like them. I feel like they were a little rushed. So I have my cat Boo Boo, my cat Nugget, my cat Lo, and this is Low Key and Boots, which are still pretty kitten. Like they're kittens, they're babies. So that's why they're like children. It's my first time drawing children too. So anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoy this video. Okay, you guys, I'm gonna be sharing the 5 tips that I have. It's gonna be a doozy. Get your popcorn. It's gonna be pretty long. You know, I had popcorn watching this, filming this video, and I will stutter a lot. I am a stutterer, so if I say something wrong, shh, okay? Shh. The first one is kind of simple, and I'm just gonna gradually move up that way. But the first one is so simple. It's okay not to draw every day. I used to hate myself. Not myself, but I used to hate the fact that I couldn't draw every day like everybody else. Like, there was people on TikTok producing mass amount of art, and I was like, why can't I do that? I was so upset with myself. And then I realized drawing every day for me led to such bad burnouts. I would draw for a week straight every day until my hands cramped at the end of the day. And then I would take 2 months, 3 months of a break because it led to such bad burnouts. Also, my dogs are in the background. I'm sorry. Burnout, and also along the line of burnout, I learned to take burnout as something that's not so serious and a way to help me as an artist grow. Now, for me, burnout mainly is, for some reason, I have ideas in my head, but my hands can't translate them. So I usually take that time to get more creative, start looking at art that I really, really like, that I want to, achieve, to create. Usually I'll find more people on TikTok that really inspire me, and sometimes I'll be so lucky and I find this random TikTok that somehow inspired me to draw. Like, I was burnt out for like a year and I randomly saw a drawing with waffles. I saw one of her videos on a purple pen and a colorless blender, and suddenly I created a miracle. I started drawing after a year. So yeah, I hated not drawing every day, and I noticed I would burn out a lot faster. So it's okay not to draw every day. Okay, so the second tip is, just because it works for them doesn't mean it will work for you. I'll repeat that once more. Just because it works for them doesn't mean it will work for you. I love going onto TikTok, seeing everybody's art tutorials, and I would try to copy their art tutorials, and they have 10 steps to drawing one eye. Oftentimes, realistically, they don't have those 10 steps to drawing an eye, and I would always sit down and wonder, why doesn't it look like theirs? What's wrong with me? Like, what, am I just a bad artist? No. It's just because their art tutorial didn't necessarily fit my art style that I was leaning towards, or it was just too much to take in at once. It's like I tried to take multiple different tutorials and piece them into one. I would take a head tutorial, an eye tutorial, a nose tutorial, a hair tutorial, a lip tutorial, and each one of them has 10 steps, so it'd be 10, 15, 20, 30 different steps to just drawing a face. It realistically, it was never gonna work. So again, just because it works for them doesn't mean it will work for you. Listen, also, this applies to mediums. I am an alcohol-based artist. I have mutuals that are watercolor artists, and I personally don't like watercolor. Doesn't necessarily mean that you can't draw inspiration from said people. Um, Listen, even if it's a cheap medium, try different mediums, art styles, books. Just because I remember Drawing Whiffy Waffles had the ELO sketchbooks. Oh my god, I wanted one so badly, but it just didn't work out for me. And now I found a sketchbook that I personally like and is super cheap and it works best for my medium. So, um, so you don't feel like a thief if you're like trying to copy people's art styles or drawing inspiration. Don't copy. If you're trying to draw inspiration, don't feel like a thief. Your art is a reflection of you. It helps with your art style. Just think of it as Frankensteining something, taking different art styles and piecing them to make your own art style to reflect you as an artist. I personally have always tried to draw inspiration from people's art styles and the way that they did things. I noticed that it caused a faster art block because I realized it didn't look the same. Okay, I'm throwing this one as a little refresher from everything. Learn to draw body parts individually. Learning all of them will only stress you out and make you give up, which, it'll be easier to piece them together. And what I mean by this is grab your sketchbook, look up some references, and draw the arm in so many different angles. Draw the torso in different angles. Draw the legs in different angles. Why? Because it's going to be a lot easier to piece them together than try to learn how to draw them all together all at once, if that makes sense. I used to do that. I used to do anatomy studies and try to draw all of them all together. I used to study them all together on one body, but then I realized I burnt out. I was stressed out. I was like, why doesn't the chest look proportionate to the arm? And guess what? You can draw the bodies and then learn how to make them proportionate to the body that you're drawing on, if that makes any sense. I'm hoping that I'm making sense with this. One of my biggest struggles was drawing the hips proportionate to the thighs and legs. My thighs and legs would be so much bigger than the hips and the rest of the body, to where it looked like you were like stretching out halfway. I don't know, doing that weird walking pose from Jujutsu Kaisen. If you know, you know. But anyways, it's just a lot easier to learn them individually and piece them together. Yeah. Also, regularly relearn, because you're constantly growing in your art style and your art. Last week you learned how to draw an arm, and a couple months later you just got so much better, and you just need to keep refreshing your abilities. Just relearn and relearn. That's usually how art styles develop, and how you basically drill it in your head, almost like studying. It's basically studying. It's an art study. You just relearn. Keep doing it. For the fourth tip, it's gonna sound like obvious, but study art styles you like. And I know, obvious, but listen to me. Once you start drawing and realize what you like, you can start adding the art styles that you like into it. For me, I like to follow old DC comics and Marvel comics. I use them as warm-ups. I do them as practices. Because I like the way that they color. I like the way that they do line art. It's overall a really nice, fun style that I would like to learn. So do them as practices. Once you learn how to do the basics, start looking at art tutorials. And like I said, just because it works for them doesn't mean it will work for you. But start looking at art tutorials. Look at the way that they draw eyes. Like, oh, I like these eyes. Grab it and reference them. If they have multiple art pieces in different angles of the way that they draw things, reference that. If they have an eye from the side profile, if they have an eye from 3/4 profile, stuff like that, you know what I mean? Start referencing it. It's like, this will also help you find an art style. It's really nice to practice. It helps with your warm-up because you won't beat yourself over it. You won't be like, oh, it didn't turn out like these. It's okay because it's a warm-up. Eventually you'll learn how to draw it. You'll learn how to draw that eye. You'll learn how to draw that nose the way that they do it. But don't outwardly copy the whole art style of whoever you like, because then that's just straight up art theft. I'll make a whole separate video on the difference between finding inspiration and art theft, but there is a fine line between the two. You just need to find it. For instance, I really like Bite Size Sponge. I like the whole vibe to their art. I like the way they draw heads, their like the way they draw hair, and I'll take inspiration from it. But you won't look at my art and be like, oh, you're just copying Bite Size Sponge. You'll look at them like, oh, you follow Bite Size Sponge, because there is a difference between that. There's a difference where you look at an art piece and like, wow, this really looks like this artist. Like, it looks too much like theirs, that it just doesn't work. But then there's also, wow, this really looks nice. You must follow so and so. There is a difference. Like I said, I like to follow comics. I do draw inspiration. Do I use them as my main style? No, I don't. I usually do them as like warm up and practices, because I haven't really found a way to incorporate it into my main style. And listen, don't beat yourself up if you're like, oh, I used to do this with this person's art style, and that's fine. We all start somewhere. We all start with somebody. Mine was drawing Whiffy Waffles. She got me into alcohol markers. And then I started watching Bite Size Sponge, and she draws with watercolors. I tried watercolors. They don't work for me. She has a patience I don't have. But I like the way that she draws. There's something so aesthetically pleasing about the way Bite Size Sponge draws, and I like that, and I strive to achieve such an aesthetically looking page. That's drawing information. That's drawing inspiration. There we go. Versus flat out copying her whole page. If you're doing an art study of it, it's okay to like copy paste a page as much as you can, but don't flat out take her page, say it's mine, and claim it as yours, because then you're just taking the artwork from an artist like AI. You don't want to be AI, do you? Anyways, this is the last and final tip. Ooh, and it's my favorite tip, because no one has ever said this. Literally, I currently figured this out like a couple months ago for me to do this, and I would sit, like, if you're sitting there and you're looking at a reference and you're looking back at your art and be like, this looks nothing like the reference. What did I do wrong? Why does the hair stick up like that? Why does the eye look like a pigeon, like pigeon-eyed, or cross-eyed? Or why does the lips look like that? Or why is my art not so flowy? Why does it look so weird? Why is it tilted? Look, I've been there, I've done that. And here's a tip to stop that. Why doesn't my art look fluid like everybody else's? And I'll help you with that. Literally, don't focus on your reference. Your reference isn't everything. I know it contradicts every little artist that goes out there and says, oh, you have to follow a reference, you always have to have references. Yes, always have a reference. If you're drawing, if you're coming up with a post, have a reference. It will help you to a degree. But then there's a time where you're gonna focus too much on the reference, and then you're gonna start freaking out because you're like, this doesn't look like the reference. Listen, literally just take the basics of the reference, draw the line of action, draw the shapes that you need to put in place of the body part, and then turn off the reference. Turn on something that you like. Take the reference off. Don't focus on the reference. Why? Because you'll lose. I lost my art style when I would follow references. I would look at the reference and I would be like, why? What happened to my art style? I just came up with my art style. Why doesn't it translate in this art? It's because I focused too much on the reference. My little perfectionist OCD ADHD brain focused way too much on the reference, and now it doesn't even look like I drew it or drew it properly. As a kid, I would love to draw Wings Club, and then I would draw like bloom or something. I'm like, why does it look so weird? Why are her lips so big? Why is her nose so big? What happened to her forehead? Yeah, that happens. That's because you're focusing on your reference too much. You're trying to make it too perfect, too much like the reference. Stop, turn it off. Do me a favor, turn off the reference, because you're just psyching yourself, like you're making yourself go crazy. Like, why doesn't it look like the reference? Why doesn't it look like this? Why doesn't it do this? You're just like freaking yourself out as to why doesn't it look like this. When you shut it off, it's gonna be, this looks really good, I like this. You took a mental snapshot of the reference, and now it's just gonna look a lot fluid. Now let's do a recap for all the kids in the back. It's okay not to draw every day. Take that burnout and use it to help you creatively. As an artist, it's okay not to draw every day. It's just gonna cause to burn out faster. Draw as much as you can when you can. Stop caring, okay? Number 2, just because it works for them doesn't mean it will work for you. Go ahead, try those cheap mediums. Try crayons, markers, acrylics. Go try everything, because just because it works for them doesn't mean it will work for you. Same thing with tutorials. Anyways, learn to draw body parts individually. Turn into Frankenstein or Dr. Frankenstein. What's his name? The dude that put Frankenstein, whatever. You know what I mean. It's just gonna be a lot easier to grab them, piece them, and size them than learning all of them at the same time. Also, study art styles you like. Dedicate a whole page to your favorite artist. It's okay. It's okay. Dedicate a whole page to your favorite artist. Study the art styles, but do not copy their art styles. And last but not least, do not focus on references, because guess what? You're gonna lose fluidity, and you don't want to lose fluidity in your art or your art style.
Okay, you guys, I finished. I like this drawing a lot more than I did the other one. Is it that good? I don't know. Anyways, you can see that like some of the names smudged. I stupidly, put my hand over it, but whatever. Hoping these tips helped you guys. Let me know if it did, because I remember as an artist, I so wish someone would tell me these things, because I was struggling, really struggling with my art. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys again for another video. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you enjoyed the art.